Janice Combs isn't just Diddy's mother, she's allegedly the hidden architect behind Bad Boy Entertainment. And 50 Cent just dropped footage Netflix refused to air. This whole empire might have been built on secrets darker than anyone imagined. Buckle up. Everybody thought they knew the Diddy story. The mogul, the parties, the empire. That was the version we all accepted. But now, 50 Cent is preparing to release season 2 of his documentary. And this time, the spotlight shifts to Janice Combs, the woman who allegedly controlled everything from the shadows. According to reports, this material Netflix refused to touch, but 50 isn't backing down. He's dropping it straight on YouTube, and insiders say it's going to fundamentally reshape how we understand Bad Boy Entertainment. The whole narrative is twisting. Let me break this down because this is where things get wild. In the Netflix documentary that just dropped, childhood friend Tim Patterson recalls something disturbing. He talks about how Diddy's father was killed when Diddy was just a toddler, and after that, Janice Combs took total control of the household. But here's where it gets dark. She allegedly transformed their home into a gathering place for powerful figures, drug dealers, street hustlers, influential people moving through Harlem. And these weren't just casual get-togethers. These were late-night parties where young Diddy was exposed to the adult world of status, power, and control. Tim Patterson describes a small stage set up right in their living room. Diddy and other kids were encouraged to perform, dance, entertain. Adults would call out, "Do that dance, baby." And in those moments, Diddy wasn't just performing, he was learning how attention, validation, and power worked. That's messed up when you think about it, a child being trained like that. But it gets even crazier. Patterson claims it wasn't uncommon to walk into rooms during these parties and find adults having sex. That was just normal for them. That's what Diddy was exposed to as a kid. That was his environment. And people in the neighborhood knew exactly what kind of influence was moving through that house. Now, TMZ and other outlets have started connecting the dots. Fans online turned into full-blown investigators, digging into every detail like they're on some CSI mission. They started studying old interviews, comparing Diddy's behavior patterns, analyzing his relationships, and folks online swear that Janice Combs wasn't just a supportive mother, she was allegedly orchestrating everything. One witness, a man named Mr. Brown, who reportedly attended these events, claims he knew Janice Combs personally. He says she ran what people thought was a modeling agency, but according to him, it wasn't a modeling agency at all. It was allegedly a brothel for high-profile drug dealers and athletes. Let that sink in. And he claims Janice came on to him multiple times back in the day. He says she had a thing for younger guys. And here's where online detectives took this to a whole new level. They noticed something eerie. Cassie Ventura, in her lawsuit, described how Diddy had specific preferences: white nail polish, certain outfits, certain behaviors. And guess what? Janice Combs wore the exact same white nail polish. Fans are pointing out that Diddy might have been modeling his relationships after his mother. That's a whole psychological layer that hits different. Then there's the footage people are talking about. After one of Diddy's parties, there's allegedly video of both Diddy and Janice sitting on a couch, both getting IVs, together, after the same party. That raises serious questions. Why would a mother and son both need medical drips after the same event? What kind of party requires that? People online are connecting this to the infamous freak-offs that Diddy's been accused of hosting. And it doesn't stop there. There's video of Diddy talking about his mother in ways that made people uncomfortable. He said she could bend over and put her palms flat on the floor while standing straight. Who describes their elderly mother like that? That's not normal. And people noticed he kissed his mother on the lips in public, multiple times. That kind of behavior sparked a lot of uncomfortable conversations online. Gondel, another source close to the family, says he always felt something was off about the relationship between Diddy and Janice. He describes it as controlling, intrusive, and deeply unconventional. After Diddy's father died, Janice allegedly positioned Diddy as the man of the house. But she didn't just give him responsibility. She allegedly controlled every aspect of his life, guiding his behavior, shaping his decisions, molding the persona that would later define Bad Boy Entertainment. Let's keep it real. Everything here is speculation until proven in court, but the pattern is undeniable. And when you start adding up all these pieces, the picture that emerges is deeply unsettling. Now, let's get into the motive, because this is where everything starts clicking. Janice Combs wasn't just a mother trying to survive after her husband's death. According to people close to the family, she was driven by ambition and proximity to power. She aligned herself with prominent Harlem figures to secure a foothold in that world. And after Diddy's father was killed, she redirected all that ambition toward her son. She allegedly saw him as the instrument of her own ascent. Think about it. Diddy was groomed from childhood. He grew up watching his mother navigate power dynamics, control rooms full of influential people, and command respect in a world dominated by men. That's not normal childhood. That's training. And here's where things get even crazier. Fast forward to December 1991. Diddy organized a charity basketball game at City College of New York. Big names were there: LL Cool J, Mike Tyson, Heavy D. The event was supposed to be a major moment for Diddy's career, but it turned into a nightmare. Before the game even started, an overcrowded entrance led to a deadly stampede. 9 people died. Dozens were injured. The doors at the bottom of the stairs opened the wrong way, trapping people as the crowd surged. It was chaos, and lawsuits from the victims' families came fast. Now, here's where Gondel drops a bombshell. He says he was there that night doing security. He had a team of 18 men ready to handle the outside crowd, with dogs and gates. But the day before the event, Diddy allegedly told him that Heavy D didn't want them doing outside security, so they were reassigned to protect celebrities inside. And without that outside security, the crowd rushed the entrance. Gondel blames Diddy directly. He says the tragedy was preventable. But here's where the part ties back to Janice. After that incident, Diddy faced serious legal exposure. His name was all over the lawsuits. And according to speculation raised in the documentary, that's when a decision was made. If Diddy's name was on everything, then everything he owned could be taken in future lawsuits. So, allegedly, key assets were placed under Janice Combs' control. Not out of love, out of strategy. Former Bad Boy artist Mark Curry has said on record that when you signed with Bad Boy, you weren't really signing with Diddy. You were signing with Janice Combs. She held the major shares. She was the financial gatekeeper. Diddy was the face, but Janice was the architect. Let that sink in for a second. The entire Bad Boy empire, all the contracts, all the control, allegedly funneled through his mother. And why? To protect the assets, to create legal distance, to ensure that if anything ever went wrong again, Diddy could say, "It's not mine, it's my mother's." That kind of setup doesn't happen by accident. That's a calculated move, and it suggests that Janice Combs wasn't just involved, she was allegedly running the show from behind the scenes. Now, let's talk about the psychological impact. Diddy grew up in an environment where power, sex, and control were normalized, where his mother allegedly used her beauty and influence to manipulate powerful men, where late-night parties weren't just parties, they were lessons in leverage. And as Diddy got older, he didn't rebel against that world, he replicated it. The infamous freak-offs that Diddy's been accused of hosting, they mirror the environment he grew up in. The control over artists at Bad Boy, that mirrors the control Janice allegedly had over him. Even the way Diddy allegedly groomed women like Cassie, shaping their appearance, controlling their behavior, that mirrors the dynamic he experienced with his mother. People online have pointed out that Diddy allegedly tried to turn women into versions of Janice. The blonde hair, the nails, the style. It's eerie, and it suggests that Diddy's entire approach to relationships, power, and control was shaped by the woman who raised him. And here's the kicker. Despite all these allegations, despite the explosive claims in 50 Cent's documentary, neither Diddy nor Janice has filed a lawsuit. They issued a statement denying the claims, but no legal action, no defamation suit, and to a lot of people watching, that silence is telling. Because if the claims were completely false, wouldn't you fight back? Wouldn't you sue? The fact that they haven't suggests that maybe, just maybe, there's more truth to this story than anyone wants to admit. But here's the part that really hits different. This isn't just about Diddy and Janice. This is about the people who got caught in the crossfire, the victims, the artists who signed with Bad Boy thinking they were getting a fair deal, only to realize they were signing away their futures. The women who were allegedly manipulated, controlled, and abused. The families of the 9 people who died at City College who never got real justice. Let's talk about Cassie for a second. She was young when she met Diddy. She had a promising career ahead of her, and according to her lawsuit, Diddy allegedly controlled every aspect of her life. What she wore, who she talked to, how she looked. He allegedly forced her into situations she didn't want to be in. And when she finally escaped, it took years for her to speak out. And now we're learning that the blueprint for that control might have come from Janice Combs. That's a whole other level of disturbing, because it means the cycle of manipulation and control goes back decades. It means Diddy was taught this behavior. He didn't invent it, he inherited it. And what about the artists? Mark Curry, Mace, the Luxe. All of them have spoken about how they were allegedly exploited by Bad Boy, how they signed contracts they didn't fully understand, how they made millions for the label but walked away with almost nothing. And if Janice Combs was the one holding those contracts, then she's not just complicit, she's allegedly central to the exploitation. Then there are Diddy's own children. His sons, Justin and Christian, have been spotted wearing free Diddy shirts in court. They're preparing to release their own documentary defending their father. But what kind of environment did they grow up in? Were they exposed to the same dynamics Diddy was exposed to as a child? People online are asking these questions because the pattern seems to repeat. One witness claims Diddy's sons were present at some of these parties, that they knew what was happening. And if that's true, then the cycle continues. Another generation shaped by the same toxic environment. That's what makes this story so heavy. It's not just about one man. It's about a system, a family dynamic that allegedly normalized exploitation, control, and manipulation. And now, decades later, the consequences are finally coming to light. People online immediately saw this as a PR move, a calculated attempt to control the narrative before 50 Cent's Season 2 drops. And 50 responded by promoting their trailer on his own Instagram, saying, "Wow, I want to see this show. I'm not sure this was a good idea." He's not intimidated. If anything, he seems amused. But here's what's really interesting. The Zeus network is owned by Lemmy, who has been friends with Diddy for years. So this isn't an independent documentary. It's a platform Diddy has influence over. And that raises questions about credibility. Are they going to present an honest account? Or is this just damage control? Either way, the battle for the narrative is heating up. On one side, you have 50 Cent, armed with explosive footage and testimonies. On the other side, you have Diddy's family, trying to rehabilitate his image before the trial. And in the middle, you have the public, trying to figure out who's telling the truth. What's clear is that Janice Combs is no longer a background figure. She's front and center. And whether people believe the allegations or not, the questions being raised are impossible to ignore. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture, because this story connects to so many other controversies. First, there's the City College tragedy. 9 people died, and to this day, no one was ever held criminally responsible. Diddy settled the lawsuits, but he never faced charges. And according to Gondel, that was a turning point. That was the moment when Diddy and his team realized they needed legal protection. That was allegedly when assets started getting transferred to Janice. Then there's the long list of artists who've spoken out about Bad Boy. Mace went public years ago, saying he was exploited. The Luxe fought for years to get out of their contracts. Mark Curry has been vocal about the unfair deals. And all of them described the same thing, a system designed to trap artists and extract maximum value, while giving them minimum compensation. And who controlled those contracts? According to multiple sources, it was Janice. She allegedly held the publishing rights. She allegedly controlled the financial structure. So when artists tried to renegotiate, they weren't just dealing with Diddy, they were dealing with his mother. There's also the connection to the freak-offs. Multiple witnesses have described these events in disturbing detail. Orgies, coercion, drugs, hidden cameras, and some witnesses have claimed that Janice was aware of what was happening, that she was even present at some of these gatherings. If that's true, it means she wasn't just a passive observer, she was allegedly complicit. And then there's the relationship between Diddy and his sons. Justin and Christian have been seen wearing Free Diddy shirts in court. They're publicly defending their father. But people online are asking, what do they really know? Were they exposed to the same environment Diddy grew up in? Are they repeating the cycle? One witness, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, mentioned in his lawsuit that Diddy's sons were present during some of the alleged incidents. That raises serious questions about what kind of environment they were raised in, and it suggests that the dysfunction might extend to the next generation. There's also the Cassie settlement. After her lawsuit went public, Diddy settled within 24 hours. That's fast. Too fast, according to legal experts. Settlements usually take weeks or months to negotiate, but this one happened overnight. People speculate that Diddy wanted to avoid discovery. He didn't want the case to go to trial, because that would mean depositions, documents, and testimonies. And maybe, just maybe, that would have exposed Janice's role. Then there's the connection to Steve Harvey's daughter, Lori Harvey. She was publicly linked to both Diddy and his son, Justin. People online found that relationship dynamic disturbing, and it raised questions about boundaries, power, and control within Diddy's circle. Was that relationship consensual, or was there pressure involved? We may never know, but it adds another layer to the story. And finally, there's 50 Cent himself. He's been going after Diddy for years. Some people say it's personal, others say 50 is just capitalizing on drama. But 50 has been consistent. He's called Diddy out publicly, made jokes, dropped hints. And now, with this documentary, he's putting everything on the table. He's not holding back, and he's making it clear that he has receipts. So when you step back and look at all these pieces, the story isn't just about Diddy. It's about a system, a family business allegedly built on exploitation, control, and secrets. And at the center of it all is Janice Combs. What we're seeing here is bigger than just one family or one label. This is about power, accountability, and the cost of fame. For decades, the music industry has been built on exploitation. Artists sign contracts they don't understand. Labels take ownership of their work, and the people at the top walk away with billions, while the creators struggle. Bad Boy Entertainment is just one example, but it's a loud one. And if the allegations about Janice are true, it means the exploitation went even deeper than we thought. The broader conversation here is legacy. Diddy built an empire. He's a billionaire. He's a cultural icon. But at what cost? How many artists were exploited? How many people were hurt? And who was really pulling the strings? This story also raises questions about parental influence. We talk a lot about how childhood shapes us, but what happens when a parent doesn't just influence a child, but allegedly engineers them? What happens when the lessons learned at home become the blueprint for an empire? That's what makes this story so unsettling, because it suggests that Diddy's behavior wasn't just learned, it was allegedly taught, reinforced, and normalized from a very young age. And then there's the question of accountability. Diddy is facing charges. He's in prison. But what about the people around him? What about the enablers? What about Janice? If the allegations are true, she's not just a supporting character. She's allegedly a central figure. And yet she's not facing charges. She's not being investigated. She's issuing statements and defending her son. That raises a bigger question. Who gets held accountable? Is it just the person in the spotlight? Or do we start looking at the systems and structures that enabled the behavior? The internet is also playing a massive role in this story. Online detectives have been digging, comparing, analyzing. They've uncovered connections that mainstream media missed. They've highlighted patterns that were hiding in plain sight, and they've kept the pressure on. Without the internet, a lot of these stories would have stayed buried. But there's a flip side. The internet also spreads misinformation. It amplifies speculation. It turns allegations into facts before they're proven, and that's dangerous. So we have to be careful. We have to demand evidence. We have to separate what's confirmed from what's alleged. What's clear is that this story is far from over. 50 Cent says season 2 is coming. Diddy's sons are preparing their own documentary. The trial is looming, and more witnesses are stepping forward. The question now is, what happens when everything comes to light? Will there be real accountability, or will the powerful find a way to protect themselves, like they always have? So where does this leave us? If the allegations are true, we're looking at decades of calculated manipulation, exploitation, and control. We're looking at an empire allegedly built on secrets, held together by legal maneuvering, and protected by a woman who stayed in the shadows while her son took the spotlight. And the craziest part? Most people had no idea. Janice Combs was seen as a supportive mother, a glamorous figure, a proud parent standing by her son. But according to the documentary, she was allegedly the mastermind, the architect, the one who set everything in motion and kept it running. People online are calling this the biggest reveal of the entire saga because it reframes everything. It means Diddy wasn't just a mogul who got too powerful and made mistakes. It means he was allegedly shaped, controlled, and directed by someone even more calculating, and that someone was his mother. Now, let's be clear, none of this has been proven in court. These are allegations, testimonies, and speculation. But the pattern is undeniable, and the silence from Diddy's legal team is deafening. If season 2 of the documentary drops and it contains the footage 50 Cent is promising, this story is going to explode. We're talking about a cultural reckoning, a re-examination of bad boy entertainment, a deeper look at how power and control operate behind closed doors. And it's not just about Diddy anymore. It's about Janice. It's about accountability. It's about whether the people who enabled the behavior will ever face consequences. Some people think 50 Cent is doing this for clout, that he's capitalizing on Diddy's downfall. But others say he's doing what the industry refused to do, holding powerful people accountable. Either way, he's not backing down. He's doubling down, and he's making it clear that more is coming. Meanwhile, Diddy sits in prison, awaiting trial. His sons are preparing to defend him publicly, and Janice Combs remains silent, issuing statements but avoiding the spotlight. The next few months are going to be critical. The trial will bring more evidence to light, more witnesses will testify, and season 2 of the documentary will allegedly reveal footage that changes everything. So the question is, are we ready for the truth? Or will we keep protecting the powerful even when the evidence is staring us in the face? Stay locked in because this story is about to get even crazier. More details are dropping, more witnesses are coming forward, and 50 Cent just confirmed that season 2 is officially in production. He's not holding back, he's not playing it safe, and he's promised that what's coming next will be even more explosive than what we've already seen. So here's what I want to know. Do you think Janice Combs was really the mastermind behind Bad Boy Entertainment, or is this just speculation being pushed too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear what you think. And do you think 50 Cent is doing this for the right reasons, or is he just capitalizing on Diddy's downfall? Let me know. Also, what do you think happens next? Does Diddy's legal team finally file a lawsuit, or do they stay quiet and hope this blows over? Because right now, the silence is saying a lot. Make sure you like this video if you found it eye-opening. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single update, because we're covering every twist, every reveal, every bombshell as this story unfolds. And turn on notifications so you're the first to know when Season 2 drops. This is one of the wildest stories in hip-hop history, and it's not over, not by a long shot. We're just getting started. I appreciate you for rocking with me through this deep dive. It's heavy, it's uncomfortable, but it's important, because if these allegations are true, we're watching a cultural reckoning happen in real time. Stay safe out there, stay skeptical, demand evidence, and remember, the people who look the most powerful are sometimes the ones with the most to hide. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.